All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi's Stadium for the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little update on a Friday from Ninerland. And of course, check out Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corners, Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. Call my friend Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. All right, let's talk a little bit about everything that happened down here in Ninerland on a Friday. John Lynch started the day off by going on KMBR with Murph and Marcus. He says there's a chance Jauan Hargrave, who has a torn triceps, potentially could return if the 49ers make the playoffs. Hargrave potentially could return, which is good news. He was asked about the trade deadline, which is coming up at 1 p.m. on November the 5th. He says the Niners are going to continue taking calls and making calls, and they'll do everything in their power to try to make their team better. He doesn't know what he'll be able to accomplish, but he definitely sounds like he's going to be active between now and then. Lynch also mentioned that Dre Greenlaw, Christian McCaffrey, and Talanoa Hufanga will all absolutely be back this season. They're saying CMC potentially could return as soon as week 10 out of the bye week. Today at practice, Tariq Owens and Ben Barch earned the Scout Team Player of the Week designations. Owens likely did an impersonation of CeeDee Lamb for the Niner defense. Ben Barch likely tried to copy and imitate Tyler Smith, Cooper Beatty, and Zach Martin, the interior guys for the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys have a really good interior offensive line. They're not as good at the tackle spots, but they're really strong inside. Obviously, Martin's been there for a long, long time, but Cooper Beatty, BB, I should say, the rookie from K-State, is a pretty good player in his own right. As far as injuries, Jauan Jennings with the hip, he is out. Kevin Givens with the groin, he is out. Jake Moody with the ankle, he is out. Deebo Samuel and George Kittle both practiced today. Jordan Mason was out of the blue jersey today. He practiced. Kyle talked a little bit about some of the injuries afterward, saying that Kittle is questionable. Demo Lenore is questionable. Deebo Samuel is questionable. Jennings, Givens, and Moody are out. George Odom as well is listed as questionable for the game on Sunday. The Niners have won 3 straight against the Cowboys. Beat them last year 42-10 in October here. Beat them 19-12 in the playoffs in January of 23. Beat them this previous January 22 in the playoffs, 23-17. So the Niners have had the upper hand on Dallas. Micah Parsons, by the way, for the Cowboys will not play. He has got an ankle injury. He suffered it in week 4 against the New York Giants. He's missed the last 2 weeks. He hasn't practiced this week, and they say he's not going to go. Now, Parsons has never beaten the 49ers. He's 0-3 against them, but any time you can play the Cowboys without Micah Parsons, you got to consider yourselves lucky. One key factor in this game is going to be third downs for the 49ers on defense. The Niners defense allows a third down conversion rate of 46%. That's 27th in the NFL. Dallas's offense is top 10 in third down conversion rate on offensively. So to me, that's a big one. Can the Cowboys sustain drives? They don't have a great rushing attack. Rico Dowdell is their number 1 back. They have Zeke Elliott. They have Deuce Vaughn. They really don't have a great running game to speak of, and it's difficult for them to sustain drives. But they are a top 10 team as far as third down conversions. Dallas also passes the ball a ton. The 49ers are currently in last place in the NFC West after the Rams beat the Vikings the other night. So LA and Arizona are technically tied with the Niners, all 3 teams sitting at 3 and 4, but LA and Arizona have the tiebreaker on the Niners because they beat them head-to-head. The Niners will take on Seattle November 17th. They will take on LA again on a Thursday nighter in December, and they will finish up the season in the last week of the year playing at Arizona. So they do get, of course, a rematch with all 3 teams in the division. Interestingly enough, the 49ers, even though they're last place in the division, they've got the best point differential in the division. Niners are plus 22, Seattle's second at plus 16, LA's minus 30, and Arizona's minus 28. So Niners worst, they're the last place in the NFC West, but they get the best point differential. Niners are 4.5-point favorites against Dallas in this game on Sunday night. Over under set at 47.5. I think it's going to be kind of a lower scoring game just because I think the Niners are going to try to run the ball at Dallas most of the night. Dallas's rush offense averages only 77.2 yards per game. They run the ball the least of any team in the NFL. Dallas's run defense is 28th in the NFL, and they give up 143 yards per game on the ground. So expect the Niners to run it a lot in this game at Dallas. Dallas has lost multiple games this year by 25-plus points. They typically win big or lose big. If they fall behind, it's jailbreak on Prescott behind a line that has some new starters, and things start to snowball negatively. But if Dallas can get a lead on you, things can snowball negatively on you. Dallas's run defense, as I said, is not very good. 27th in the NFL. They allow 4.5 yards per carry. They're last in EPA per rush. They're 30th in rushing success rate. They really are a struggling run defense. Red zone's going to be key in this game. The 49ers in the red zone have not been good, but Dallas's red zone offense or red zone defense is 31st in the NFL. Dallas allows a red zone touchdown 73.6% of the time. So if the Niners red zone offense is going to get cooking, you would think it's going to happen right here. Dallas has a bottom 10 offense despite the fact that Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are one of the most prolific quarterback-wide receiver combos in the league. Dallas throws the ball the most of any team in pro football, 39.7% of the time they're throwing the football. Dallas's O-line, as I said, they're strong in the middle, not as strong at tackle. It's been a revolving door with injuries. Against Detroit a few weeks back, Dallas's O-line gave up 19 pressures in one game, 4 quarterback hits and 3 sacks. So Dallas doesn't run it a lot. As I said, they pass it a ton. They're 30th in rush attempts, and they're 32nd overall, dead last in rush yards. The interesting thing about Dallas without having Parsons is their pressure rate is 34.8 with Parsons in the 4 games he's played, but their pressure rate in the 2 games without Parsons is 34.9, just a slight tick better. It'll be interesting to see if they can rush the passer against the 49ers in this game. I think another thing to remember in this game is that special teams. The 49ers are struggling on special teams. They're 31st in DVOA on special teams. They struggle on punt return coverage. They struggle on kickoff return coverage. Turpin, the explosive return man for Dallas, is a big play guy, and he could easily take one back to the house. That will be one of the big things to look for sure. Can Dallas get a huge advantage on the 49ers special teams-wise? Dallas has the best special teams unit in the NFL. And join me tonight for Niners Nightly. Tonight we'll be in Alameda at Almanac Brewing Company. They're at 651 West Tower Avenue in Alameda. I'll be there in about an hour to hang out with Copeland and Tolbert and have a couple beers and hang out, and then we'll do Niners Nightly from 6 to 7 there tonight. And tonight on Niners Nightly, Joe Hoyt's going to stop by. He's from Lone Star Live. He's a Dallas Cowboys reporter and a local guy. He went to Sarah High School in San Mateo, so we'll talk a little bit about the Cowboys at 6 o'clock with Joe Hoyt. At 6:30, Brad Graham's going to stop by from at the SF Niners. He's a great follow on X. He's a really good Niner content creator, and we'll get his thoughts on the matchup as well right around 6:30. So that's coming up tonight. And then later on tonight, post Game 1 of the World Series, Ned Colletti and Glenn Kuiper are scheduled to stop by with Dan Coach Emilio. We'll go live after Game 1 of the World Series around 8:30, 8:45, and talk a little baseball tonight on the Krug Show. So that's going to do it from here in Santa Clara. 49ers getting ready to play the Cowboys. It is a gotta-have-it game for the Niners. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for supporting. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.